Good
It's okay.
afternoon to all gathered here. We are here to participate in a webinar series launched by the Association of Microbiologists of India. This lecture series is an effort of Association of Microbiologists of India to acknowledge the participant and tremendous impact advancement in the field of microbiology and having or could have on various aspects of our lives. The use of microbiology is believed to have a potential to revolutionize a wide range of scientific and biological fields. This series of lectures will make close scientific connection between the scientists, educationists, professionals, technocrats, and students during this lockdown period. This webinar series is a great effort of Association of Microbiologists of India to keep the knowledge update and utilize time best possible way in the current scenario in the pandemic situation. This webinar has received an overwhelming response for the scientific community. In fact, we have 450 registered participants. Other than this, we are also live sessions on AMI Facebook. Today, we have with us Professor Yogendra Singh, President AMI, Professor D.K. Singh, President-elect, Professor Rupla, today's speaker, my colleague, Professor Sunil Pabbi, Professor Praveen Rishi, Professor U. Shiv Kumar, Professor Chibbar, Professor Jha, Professor Ram Teki, Professor Anil Punia, Professor Anil Panghal, and our moderator, Dr. Nilesh Sindhu. Distinguished participants from different organizations, a very afternoon to everyone. And thank you for joining us at this webinar on epidemiology, detection, treatment, transmission, and comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2 and managing personal and professional life during COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown period. On behalf of the Association of Microbiologists of India, I take this opportunity to accord and very warm welcome to Professor Dilip K. Singh, President-elect 2020-21. Professor Singh is a professor in the Department of Zoology, University of Delhi. He will chair the session today. Professor Singh, for this session, he is a well-known academician, research, and able administrator. I have great pleasure to welcoming you, sir, to this wonderful gathering. It is indeed our pleasure and privilege to have you amidst us today. On behalf of all the assembled here, I extended a very warm welcome to Professor Rupla, today's speaker. Professor Ruplan is a NACI Senior Scientist, Platinum Jubilee Fellow at the Energy and Resource Institute, Complex, New Delhi. He is the Fellow of Indian National Academy, New Delhi, Fellow of National Academy of Science, Allahabad, Fellow of National Academy of Agriculture Sciences, and the Fellow Academy of Microbiological Sciences, India. He started his career as a lecturer in Sri Venkateswara College, University of Delhi, and served for nearly 13 years and became Professor of Molecular Biology at the Department of Zoology, University of Delhi, from where he retired as a professor in 2008. Who has over 40 years of long-standing experience in teaching, administration, and research. He has supervised nearly 70 PhD theses and more than 120 MPhil and MSc postgraduate students. Professor Ruplal has specialized himself in the area of microbial diversity, genomics, and metagenomics. He has extensively explored the molecular and genetic aspect of hexachlorohexane degradation, explored microbial diversity, and published 50 novel bacterial species sequences on NCBI. And he is carried out on comparative genomics more than 5 projects and genomic or metagenomic analysis of 5 microbiomes. His research has led to the identification of functional characterization by using metagenomic approaches of microbial and virtual communities at Manikaran Hot Springs. His group has also explored microbial diversity and its role in the degradation of HCH at the Polycate dumping site located at Lucknow. Professor Lal was editor-in-chief of Indian Journal of Microbiology from 2006 to 2013 and also served as a member of editorial board in various leading scientific journals. Professor Lal is a recipient of several prestigious fellowships, including Alexander Humboldt Fellowship, Germany, GBT Overseas Fellowship, and Indo-US Fellowship or Professorship in the Microbiology. He was the Ambassador American Society for Microbiology for the Indian Ocean region from 2012 to 15. He was also a member of several national and international committees, a number of the review committee of ASM Indo-US Professorship in the Microbiology. He was the General Secretary of Association of Microbiology from 2011 to 2018. I welcome you, sir, for today's lecture, and I'm extremely warm welcome to Professor Ruplal and the chair, Professor D.K. Singh. Now over to Professor Ruplal, sir. Sir, please.
Before starting, I would request all to turn off your camera. Subhas Chinkar, Dilip Kumar Singh, Varsha, Pramod, Anupma Daya, all are requested to keep your camera off. Otherwise, we will be forced to remove you. Varsha, Dilip Kumar Singh, Subhas. Please respect the speaker. You are just lying on the bed and watching this one. Please respect the speaker. Varsha, Pramod, kindly turn off your camera. Spandan, kindly turn off your camera. Please respect the speaker. This is not the way to attend a webinar. I am repeating again and again, otherwise I will be forced to remove you.
So shall I start now? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And able to see my slides, right?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes,
okay. So, I'm starting now. Thank you, Professor Namita, for a very nice introduction. In fact, all achievements that have been mentioned are not really, it's not really but thank you very much. I'm talking today on a very relevant topic, epidemiology, detection, treatment, transmission, comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2 and managing personal and professional life during COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown from my own experience. Before I begin, would like to thank Namita, and also, in fact, I wanted to edit this particular photograph. मैं अपना picture हटा देना चाहता था, लेकिन Namita sent me a PDF, so could not do it. Would like to thank Yogender, Virdi, also Kohad, and Professor D.K. Singh, who is chairing this session, for being so involved in this particular AMI, and also in initiating this webinar. Namita already mentioned that many of our colleagues and also CC members, they are really very kind to initiate this very webinar, and this is a right time and right step. Dr. Namita, you are really doing a great service to the nation along with your colleagues, popularizing microbiology through AMI platform, and that is what is needed as of today. So thank you very much. I will not really, but just to begin with, you all know most of the things, and in fact, I have already given part of this particular seminar in AMI CU unit in Chandigarh. वहां मैं रिहर्सल करके आया हूं, तो लेकिन आज बहुत अच्छी तरह से प्रिपेयर नहीं कर पाया. But to begin with, you know most of the things, but I will just again give you a background in order to take off. You know, this SARS-CoV-2 or this coronavirus was first detected on December 1st, 2019 in China. And India, the first COVID-19 patient was detected on January 30th. And then this was followed by a declaration of outbreak by WHO, then lockdown 1 on March 24th, then second lockdown 3rd, and then unlock 1, unlock 2, and unlock 3. And as of today, as you all know, that there are around globally more than 2 crores 33 lakhs COVID positive individuals, and more than 8 lakhs fatalities. And in India itself, there are more than 30 lakhs COVID positive individuals and more than 56,000 deaths. So all these facts are already known to you. But just again, because most of the things are known to you, so a couple of slides which I'm giving you just to make you familiar and in order to get into the subject. Now, this coronavirus, it's a novel virus. You all know it. It's a single-stranded RNA virus, has got clone-like appearance because of the spikes that are projecting out of it. And the genome size, the RNA genome size is something around 27 to 30 kb. You all know it that earlier this transmission of this virus was reported only by respiratory droplets. But recently it has also been declared by WHO that this virus is also airborne, and the incubation period is something around 2 to 14 days. And the symptom, you all know it, need not to mention them again, but also had been added that loss of smell and taste is also detected from those patients, and the prevention is only social distancing, respiratory hygiene, hand hygiene, and community surveillance. There, as Professor Amulya Panda, he mentioned right in the beginning when we didn't start this webinar that there is no cure. In fact, most of the people probably they are not dying alone because of this SARS-CoV-2 infections, but they are also suffering from number of diseases, and as such there is no cure, there is no drug, there is no vaccine available as of now. You keep on reading lot more things in the newspapers and the media, and also as I mentioned that apart from what has been mentioned earlier, WHO also declared it airborne. And these are only the standard precautions that you need to take at this point of time: hand hygiene, social distancing, respiratory hygiene, and unfortunately, people who are at the age of 65 and above, they are high risk group actually and have got more possibilities of getting infected. So you need to help them, and also senior citizens need to be more careful. Now, lot more you keep on, and I also keep on getting lot more information on WhatsApp. You don't really need to believe all those things which are being circulated. Probably there was information that as the temperature will go beyond 25, this virus will die. Nothing has happened. In Delhi, the temperature was something around above 40, and it was at 44 and 45. Then also that you hold your breath for 10 seconds, you are healthy. That is also not the case. It's not correct. And also that the drinking alcohol, and when alcohol shops were opened up, there you are seeing long queues. तो लोगों ने सोचा शायद दारू पीने से बहुत strong हो जाएंगे. That is also. Then also you keep on reading कि आमला खाने से, लहसुन खाने से. There are so many things. So don't really believe what all is being circulated. That's what actually I wanted to convey through this particular lecture. So before I begin, I will just again introduce you about SARS-CoV-2. It's already been a lot more information. Many papers on daily basis are appearing in literature. And the size of this particular SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus is something around 70 to 90 nanometer. This is already known. And the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses named this virus as SARS-CoV-2, belonging to family Coronaviridae. And COVID-19 is the disease. So don't confuse COVID-19 with coronavirus. COVID-19 is a disease, and COVID positive does not mean that they are all diseased persons. They could be asymptomatic, as I will mention later. And also it is also known that in Coronaviridae family, there are 4 types of viruses: alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Alpha and beta they infect mammals, and gamma and delta generally infect fishes and birds. You also know it that SARS-CoV-2 consists of structural proteins, spike protein that interact with the ACE2 receptors, membrane protein, envelope protein for assembly and release, the nucleocapsid protein that acts as a sort of tether for RNA genome. So all these things are known to you. You also know actually, in fact, there are a lot more information, there are a lot more deviations from the slides that I'm showing, but not getting into the details at this point of time. But you know it that this SARS-CoV-2 or coronavirus, it infects the epithelial cells, interacts with ACE2 receptors, get into the host cell, and its RNA along with host machinery or ribosome eventually makes a protein or replication transcription complex, and this complex is subsequently utilizing most of the things from the host, is responsible for making large number of mRNAs and also replicating this RNA in order to make more copies, and in association with endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, the new particles are being formed, and as a result of that exocytosis, this new crop of particles is being excreted out, and it infects newer cells, and that's how it is being spread. The linear map of this has already been prepared. As I mentioned, there are 16 non-structural proteins responsible for replication, transcriptional complex, which are very important, and also 4 structural proteins and 4 hypothetical proteins. But the point I wanted to highlight here, SARS-CoV-2 outbreak, how this virus is wreaking havoc across the, what are things or what are the unique features of this particular virus that makes it so so pandemic, and as a result of that everybody is worried. There are many things which I'll mention subsequently, but what we wanted to see right in the beginning, when there was before even the lockdown, when there was a lot more was being done about SARS-CoV-2. During March, actually, we decided to look into the genomes of SARS-CoV-2 virus, which were available at that particular point of time, and look into it, what is happening as it is, this virus is moving from Wuhan to different countries, to India, to Brazil, to Sweden, to Italy, to Germany and to USA. So what we did at that time, just made a team of very brilliant students who are now my colleagues along with Yogendra Singh. So 18 or 16 of us came together and made a strategy. Why not to look into the comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2? And what he did right in the beginning, during the second week of March 2020, we selected some 95 genomes of SARS-CoV-2, 11 from 11 different countries, 52 from USA, 30 from China, 3 from Japan, 2 from India, 2 from Taiwan, and 1 each from Australia, Brazil, Italy, Nepal, and South Korea and Sweden. What we wanted to do was comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2 as it is moving from Wuhan to different countries. And when the normal thing we did not do anything extraordinary. We annotated the genomes by using the normal tools, and then we looked into what are the nucleotides which are actually getting changed and under natural selections, what are the actually genes that are getting changed. We also did phylogenomic or phylogenetic analysis by using core gene and single nucleotide polymorphism, looked into host pathogenic interactions of 95 genomes of this particular virus, and also looked into the single nucleotide polymorphism. So when we did the simple analysis, annotations, we found out that yes, it contains 16 non-structural proteins, then contains 4 structural proteins and 4 hypothetical proteins. But our analysis revealed that this particular SARS-CoV-2 is evolving at a very fast rate when it has moved from Wuhan to different countries, to different areas, to different localities, and to different communities. Especially there are mutations in RNA replication and processing genes. And remember, it is because of this reason, because of its fast evolving nature, that developing a vaccine or any other drug will be difficult, and it is becoming difficult actually because of this particular reason. The second thing, as I mentioned, which you did was phylogenomic analysis. Looked into the phylogenetic relationship of all 95 genomes of SARS-CoV-2. And we first confirmed that yes, what has already been reported, that the nearest neighbor of this SARS-CoV-2 is in the bat. It has come from bat into human beings. Whether it directly came into human being or there was an intermediate host, this you all know is not really so far resolved. But what is known as of today and what we confirmed from these 95 genomes, that yes, its closest relative is a virus which is in bat. The phylogenetic analysis revealed that there is a mosaic distribution of SARS-CoV-2. Not only that it is different among different states or different countries, especially in USA, but within the same locality or within the same community, there are strains which are quite distantly related to each other, which reflected again what I mentioned in the previous slide, that this particular SARS-CoV, that is one of the unique features of SARS-CoV-2. Remember, that's what is making for us difficult to develop vaccine or any other drug, because it is mutating at a very fast rate. In the next slide, you can see actually the mutations in the US strains in the amino acids. Not only there was mutations in the amino acid, changes in the amino acids, but there were also frame shift mutations which got stabilized in couple of strains and also that were isolated, or genomes of which were available from USA as well as from China. So what I mentioned and what our data or analysis revealed, that there are mutations, especially in the non-structural proteins or region, and those non-structural proteins are very important because they are responsible for replication, transcription, and making this strain more virulent. That is what actually we projected, that these mutations are making this particular strain SARS-CoV-2 more virulent. I'll come to this point later. But in addition to this, we also looked into host pathogen interactions, and we will not get into the details. You can read details in the paper which is already in the open access and available. But what we found was that uh, uh, this particular interaction of the host pathogen and host genes, it actually makes the virulent strains leading to the host cell death and also evade immunity. And also methylation is the major mechanism that actually makes this virus more sturdy and makes it to stay for a longer time. So our conclusions were that this SARS-CoV-2 is evolving at a very fast rate, especially in the strains which we analyzed from the US. And we also predicted that those strains are more virulent. Now, this data and analysis was done and manuscript was available during the last week of March. We were ready to submit it. We submitted it to M System. But it was submitted, by the time it was reviewed within some 3 weeks time, lot more information came up and it was completely not rejected, but the reviewers, most of my colleagues, they know it, how difficult it is when it is not rejected, but it comes for resubmission. That why don't you include most of the information that has already appeared? But apart from that, we said that the mutations are leading to virulence, or they are making these strains more virulent. Now they said, why don't you come up with wet lab experiments to say for sure that yes, the mutant strains in USA or in other countries that you predicted are more virulent. But by then, people had already confirmed our results, what we did. So from the literature, we substantiated our predictions, or what we made, that yes, these are virulent strains, and scientists have already done more work and looked into it, that these mutant strains are really more virulent. So when we resubmitted it, after resubmission, then this paper was accepted for publication on July 14 in M System. So that's how we finally were able to publish this particular paper, Comparative Genomic Analysis of Rapid Evolving SARS-CoV-2. Now, it was only based on 95 genomes, but now if you look, thousands of genomes are available. And if you look into it, you will find there are a lot more mutations that are occurring in this particular strain. So this is one feature that is making this particular SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus unique, very unique, in the sense that very difficult to handle this, and it is also becoming more and more virulent. And it is for this reason, as Dr. Amulya Panda also mentioned, that there will not be, probably in near future, although there are reports already that in 6 months' time or already the vaccines are available, but I assure you and tell you, it will be very difficult to develop a vaccine and also to develop any drug to control SARS-CoV-2. We had to live with it. Now, this fast evolving SARS-CoV-2 is one of the issues that is making it unique. But there are all other more issues that you all need to know, which are making this SARS-CoV-2 very unique. You all know it, that now there are 3 types of corona patients: symptomatic, pre-symptomatic, asymptomatic. And symptomatic, yes, pre-symptomatic means symptoms have not appeared. Asymptomatic means already they have infection, but they are resistant. So these asymptomatic patients are becoming a problem. They are silent spreaders. They are spreading this virus. They are not, that is, they just go scot-free because they get infected. There are no symptoms, and they can actually transmit this virus to especially senior citizens. And if you look into the slide, in fact, the mask, who should wear the mask? Those who are asymptomatic. Not actually the protection. Better protection is if both of them wear the mask, but it is still better actually if the asymptomatic COVID-19 carrier, they wear the mask. So it's a very serious problem, and now it is already appearing in the literature that 40 to 50% of the COVID-19 positive individuals are asymptomatic. And in fact, let me tell you, actually, मुझे भी ऐसे लगता है कि मुझे हो गया एक बार, खांसी वगैरह आ रही थी, पड़ोसियों ने फोन कर दिया था पुलिस को. So I think most of you who are listening to this seminar, आप सभी को, बहुत सारों को 40 to 50% मीन्स उसमें आप भी आ गए हैं, बहुत सारों को तो हो गया होगा. And testing actually which is being done, there are, there are only two methods available, RT-PCR, you are familiar with. The second is the serological test. Imaging has also been projected, but it has not been commercially utilized. And in fact, COVID-19 test, ये कोई बहुत बड़ा बात नहीं है. Last month I wanted to go to my village in Himachal Pradesh. यहाँ पर बहुत बोर हो गए थे हम सारे घर पे बैठे बैठे. So we decided why not to go to Himachal and just have a change. And then so why I wanted to show you this slide, that don't go by what you keep on reading or listening in the news or in the television and in the media or newspapers. When we wanted to go, we were told that Punjab में बहुत serious situation है, आपको वहीं रोक लिया जाएगा, हिमाचल में रोक लिया जाएगा. But when we moved from Delhi to Haryana, then to Punjab, वो पुलिस वाला सो रहा था, nothing happened actually. We went to Himachal. At the border, we were actually then we showed our pass and went to our village. There are actually health workers over there, and we were asked to stay actually home quarantine. And then health workers, they came and did the COVID-19 test, RT-PCR. They took the samples. थोड़ा सैंपल लेते बगैर थोड़ा तकलीफ होता है when they put this pipe into your nasal cavity. उधर ना थोड़ा परेशानी होता है, but then it turned out to be COVID-19 negative, and we stayed there for a month, and then finally came back on last week on 15th August from the village after having enjoyed fresh air over there. Now, in pursuit of drugs and vaccine, as I mentioned, and Dr. Panda rightly mentioned, that it will be very difficult to put up a vaccine and a drug in near future. Agar develop bhi ho jati hai, there will be no problem. You keep on reading that hydroxychloroquine has been, along with azithromycin, it has been used in France or in Wuhan. Then also remdesivir has been used on patients. But there is no literature, there is no scientific evidence that these drugs are really effective against SARS-CoV-2. And there are large more companies, institutions, scientists, more than 200 who are working in order to develop vaccine. And then you have India is also probably 3 vaccines are being developed in India. And you know it that Bharat Biotech India and National Institute for Virology, which has provided asymptomatic COVID-19 strain, is associating with BBIL in order to develop this particular vaccine, which probably will be put up shortly. That is what is being projected. Russia has already come up with Sputnik 5, and there is a lot more controversy. How does this work? We'll not get into the details, but there are a lot more scientists around the world are concerned about this vaccine, whether it has completed phase 3 trials or not, or what is the data that has not been made available. But believe it, vaccine will not become, even if it becomes available, there will be a lot more problems, whether one booster, we have to repeatedly give it, or it will be effective even all mutant strains that I have mentioned right in the beginning, or it will be for a longer time, how long it will after creating antibodies, how long those antibodies will stay. So all those questions are already remains unanswered. So it's very really difficult, but what is promising that India is a growing hub for vaccine as well as for antibiotics. More than 60 to 70%. Whosoever develop a vaccine, they have to come to India in order for mass scale production, and also for even antibiotics, or even if a drug is developed. So that is something which will happen in India. And you are also reading about serological survey carried out in Delhi, carried out in Punjab. It's also carried out in Pune. And the summary is that in Pune, 51% of the individuals who were tested by whom the sero tests were carried out, they showed the presence of antibiotics. In Delhi, more than 30%. In Punjab, more than 40%. So that is what I am telling, that most of us are asymptomatic. And आप सभी को शायद हो भी चुका होगा, मैंने कहा है कि मुझे भी शायद हो गया पहले ही, बिकॉज मैं खांसी कर रहा था तो पड़ोसियों ने पुलिस को फोन कर दिया था कि भाई नेबर में एक बंदा रोज खांसी कर रहा है, तो आप सभी को हो चुका होगा. Conclusion is that India has been moving toward immunity at a community level at a very fast rate. So why this lockdown and containment? You know it because of and India did it at a very right time, and that is how actually otherwise the cases of COVID-19 positive and fatality rate in India would have been much more. But what is that you need to prove? I said there is no treatment, there is no vaccine or drug available. So as of now, and it is only prevention, and it's only your innate immunity that will protect you. Maintain hygiene, social distancing, wear mask. Do not believe on WhatsApp messages के दारू पीना शुरू कर दो, लहसुन खाना शुरू कर दो, अदरक खाना शुरू कर दो, और ये हल्दी खाना शुरू कर दो. There is no drug or vaccine, as I mentioned. I am repeating it. Eat less and be healthy. घर में बैठे बैठे, क्योंकि लॉकडाउन है, घर में बैठे हैं, तो यूट्यूब से देखे नई नई चीजें बनाए जा रहे हो और खाए जा रहे हो और वजन बढ़ा जा रहा है. Plan your day. Do not sit on TV and do not believe on media reports. And the reports that public can India sustain this spread? No, I don't think. It was mentioned that Indians are more resistant. They are more immune. That does not really happen. And it was also mentioned that probably humidity or rains, they will wash away the virus. That has not happened. It was also mentioned that increase in temperature beyond 40 will kill it. No, it has not done. But, and India is really among the worst affected countries for COVID? Yes, it is now coming at number 3. But the ray of hope is that India has the best recovery rate, 75%, and the lowest fatality rate, that is 1.87%. So this is so all these facts are known to you. Now only we know it actually कि ये COVID या virus क्या कर सकता है. But AMI has also taken up using this platform to spread this message, the importance of microbiology and viruses. We need to educate our society. We need to educate rickshaw pullers. We need to educate our children जो माइक्रोबायोलॉजी नहीं जानते हैं, क्योंकि वो आप लोगों से अब घर पे बैठ के पूछ रहे हैं ये इतना बड़ा वायरस क्या है जिसकी वजह से हम सारे घर पे बैठे हुए हैं, ये माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म क्या है. So we need actually, and AMI and Namita has taken a right step actually to propagate microbiology through AMI platform by conducting this particular webinar. I have mentioned this number of times. We had been talking about it. In fact, mentioning that because of the coming up of newer tools and techniques, sequencing technology and computational tools, we now know the total number of this particular, when I say microbes means archaea, bacteria, fungi and viruses, is something around 0.9 to 3.2 into 10 to the power 30 microbes. And just see the number of viruses. It is 1 into 10 to the power 30 viruses on this particular planet. And the total living biomass is 30%. It's probably earlier you thought that it is only plants and animals which constitute the major living system, but 30% of the living system is constituted. So microbiology is very important, and those who actually thought that ये plants पे काम ठीक रहता है, animals पे रहता है, probably they also are now rethinking, and they also have shifted their emphasis. Nobody can do biology, good biology, without understanding the role of microorganisms. As I mentioned, 30% of them, they are biomasses because of this. As I mentioned earlier, this revolution came because of the sequencing technologies became much cheaper, and the computational tools, they become available. So the major impact of these tools and sequencing has been on microbiological sciences. And those who are doing microbiology are really very lucky today. In fact, we were criticized, me and Yogendra Singh and Dr. D.K. Singh were criticized while doing microbiology in the Department of Zoology. And my colleagues, all other colleagues, now they themselves have started doing microbiology. So we realized the importance of microbiology long ago, and we knew that good science cannot be done without understanding the interaction of microbiology. And initially, as you all know, we were doing only microbiota, single organism, picking it up. we'll culture it and look into what is it doing. And now, because of the coming up of newer tools and techniques, we are now talking about the whole community of microorganisms. We call it as microbiome, complete complement of microbes, their genes and proteins in a particular niche, and lot more microbiome projects were initiated. One of them, which has really impacted our life, is the human microbiome project. And you also know that World Microbiome Day on 27th June of every year, we are all microbiologists. So Namita, you are doing a very good job, and AMI also should start celebrating 27th June, actually, to propagate microbiology not only among microbiologists, but into the society, among the children, and also to those who are not familiar with it. Because this microbiome has really become very important. We all know it, that our cells, we have some 30 trillion cells in our body, and 39 trillions of bacteria gets associated immediately afterwards. Our own genes are 30,000. With the association of bacteria, the number goes to 3 million. Each one of us carry around more than 3 pounds of bacterial load. A maximum number of them is present in my gut. You see here how many cells are there in the microbial cells, 10 to the power 14 microbial cells per gram of fecal matter. And bacteriophage, 10 to the power 12. So can you live without understanding? Can you lead a healthy life without understanding the role of microorganisms in my body or in my gut? Or can you do biology? Can you do good science without understanding the role of microorganisms? Answer to this question is no, because these organisms or bacteria are performing most of the functions which my body, my own gene cannot. So this is actually, that's where we come to the microbiome and human health. And this is also one of the aim of AMI, to propagate microbiology now among all persons of this society, in order to tell them that maintaining a healthy microbiome, you can lead a good life, and any deviation can lead to large number of diseases: obesity, malnutrition, then heart attacks, then liver diseases, brain disease, depression, blood pressure, arthritis. Our list is very long now, and even any type of depression, your personality, everything is decided now by microbial community in my gut, and any deviation can lead to all these the conclusion is, again, I'm repeating, we cannot do good biology without understanding the role of microorganisms. And all these microbiologists, in fact, AMI has a very important role to play. Our colleagues, including president and CC members, and also those who are associated with AMI, now has a very important role to play, to take this message to people who are not familiar. Let them know actually what is the role of microorganisms, what problems they can create apart from being very beneficial. So this is what I wanted to do. And we have been, through AMI, we have been taking actually propagating this microbiology, going to the schools and even to the society. Long back, around 3-4 years back, we started doing this. So microorganisms have become very important. I keep on telling, अभी तक तो हम यही पढ़ाते थे, A for apple, E for elephant, C for cat. लेकिन टाइम आ गया, समय जब हमको ये पढ़ाना पड़ेगा कि A for arthobacter, B for bacillus, E for E. coli, and B for virus. So microbiology, but then we all microbiologists need to project actually this message in the society. We have already written a very important, some 40, 50 scientists from 30 countries came together. We are also a part of it, where we wrote actually the urgent need for microbiology literacy. This we did in 2019. We also actually, its translation is available in Hindi, Punjabi, and Bangla. We are also doing it in some other languages in order to take this message to the to people who are really not microbiologists. And we are writing books, in fact, society and children-centric books on microbiology, in order to make them aware that right from the beginning, the role of microorganisms they are playing. We have already written an editorial, Class Excursion to Ignite Children and Society or People, to let them know the role of microorganisms. So this is what I mentioned, even going to the schools, to the villages, we all microbiologists need to take up this job. very seriously. Not only that, we need to propagate microbiology into the society, but also we need to convey through AMI a message to the government that microorganisms are very important in terms of epidemics and pandemics, as you have seen with the COVID-19, and they are also responsible for large number of things. And our administrators and politicians, they need to actually decide and built in the role of microorganisms as one of the major theme in order to decide policies and take the country forward. So this is what actually mentioned that we have been popularizing. But then the other aspect which I wanted to mention, apart from that, you are my colleagues and those who are listening to this, they should go back and tell their parents the role of microorganisms in order to maintain good health. But what are you doing during lockdown? How are you balancing your personal and professional life? Now this, of course, I could have taken slides from the internet, but I'm showing it. I want to show it what I have started doing and how I have been keeping a balance between personal and professional life. Let me tell you and repeat it again. India may not lift coronavirus lockdown completely, even not in September, not in October or November. In China, it has not been done. There was a report yesterday from WHO chief says that it will not be over. It will take nearly 2 years. So you need to live with this COVID-19. So what I decided, the project number one, made a team of some 14, 15 my colleagues who are really very brilliant. And I mentioned earlier that we wrote one comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2, that paper which got published in M-System. The second one on host pathogen interactions, we have again submitted this to M-System. We have been now doing actually writing to reclassification by using computational tools. So we are busy and have written a couple of articles. So really during this lockdown and this year, we have written around 20 articles. We are also, as mentioned earlier, writing a book, Microbiology for Society and Children. और घर में जब आप अब रह रहे हो सारे दुखी हो गए, पहले तो लगा था छुट्टियां हो रही हैं, तो कोविड-19 लॉकडाउन एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू हैव ए फन विद द फैमिली. कुछ ना कुछ आप कैरम ले लो, कुछ कोई गेम इकट्ठे बैठने का, शेड्यूल योर डे एक्चुअली and start doing it. I'm doing it, sitting with my wife and also extended family, and we are playing carom in the evening. Not only this, recently we have also started spending almost 1.5 hours. We are doing yoga. My flexibilities has increased. Then also on March 24th, when first lockdown was declared, I decided to reduce my weight. When sometime in 2012 or 13, when I didn't know anything about microbiome, it was something around 95 kg. I reduced this because by changing my bacteria, by changing my lifestyle and food habits to 78. And when this lockdown was declared, I was stuck up at 78. I wanted to actually further reduce, and today it is something around 67 or 68. I don't take any medicine. My blood pressure is normal. And those medicines which I had been taking to maintain the blood, I have completely stopped. But what I did was, I changed my, during even lockdown, I changed my, मैं बनाता हूँ औरों के लिए, खुद नहीं खाता हूँ. And also I have a small gym at home where I walk do the exercise for almost nearly 2 hours. I walk 30 kilometers on a cross trainer. And then also I do walking, total walking 21,000 steps, and that keeps me healthy. And started, as I mentioned, doing yoga. So use this lockdown as an opportunity to, we are using this to ignite young minds. ये जो वर्कशॉप में मैं लेक्चर दे रहा हूँ, नमिता ने बुला लिया, नहीं बनाते तो मैं इनको लिख देता कि नमिता मुझे बुला लो, मैंने लेक्चर देना है. तो बच्चों को बताना है कि माइक्रोबायोलॉजी और कंप्यूटेशनल. So we are also conducting workshops, and we have conducted one in Maitri College sometime during June and July, in SB College in July, through our startup Fixed Gene Private Limited. The response was phenomenal. There were many young students who wanted to attend during this lockdown, and the number went to something around more than 200 when we conducted this in Venkateshwara College, and through the startup that we have. And also, as I mentioned, and probably Praveen Diship, she is here. She knows it कि मैंने इस lecture का rehearsal चंडीगढ़ में किया है when I was sitting in my village. There actually also I conveyed this message most of the things which I'm presenting over here. And would like to mention again and thank Namita, Yogender and Virdi and also Kohad and Dr. D.K. Singh, and also along with Namita, all other CC members to take all this microbiology aggressively, not only to microbiologists, but also to the society and also to the children. That way, we actually will be able to, AMI will be able to serve the society and will be, it's a very popular, it's a, probably we know it, that AMI is the oldest society and one of the very premier society of the country. And through this, actually, I request all my colleagues to take it aggressively. Namita is already doing it, but we also need to further substantiate. I have also a team of my young colleagues who keep on telling me, helping me, and also making me aware of what is happening and how now they are also listening, and probably I will go back to them and ask them, "Bhai, kahan mere se galti hui hai bolne mein." So that's how actually I want to thank. But then, as I mentioned, develop your schedule right in the morning. Classes shuru honi hai, kitne baje se kitne tak karna hai, kya karna hai, decide in the morning what all you need to do. And in fact, when I was at home, वहां पर ये कैरम नहीं था घर में, गांव में, तो वहां पर आम बहुत थे. मैंने आमों को लेके उनका पल्प निकाल के मैंने आम रस बनाना शुरू कर दिया. And this I distributed to my colleagues, brought it to Delhi. So you decide yourself what exactly you can do. With this, now I'm coming to the end of this particular, that your own immunity. Dr. Panda rightly mentioned that इसमें बहुत सारे जो ये दिखा रहे हैं कि इतने मर गए हैं, ये COVID-19 की वजह से नहीं है. हम अपना we have our own immunity, and that probably is making us to survive. Most of you are already having antibiotics, so nothing to worry much. But yes, maintain hygiene, social distancing, wear mask. Do not believe on first WhatsApp messages. Eat less and be healthy. आजकल सारे घर में इतना बना रहे हैं, अपना वजन मत बढ़ाओ. मैंने पक्का रख लिया है कि इससे ज्यादा 5 ग्राम भी नहीं बढ़ने दूंगा. Plan your day. Create a routine for study. Spend quality time to do one activity together. And also do not sit on, don't listen to and believe what is being actually projected in the television and also in the media. Would also like to mention, we were discussing with Kohad, and I have to discuss with Namita and also Yogender and also with Sunil Pabi, that this 61st annual conference of Association of Microbiologists, we are now planning to organize it. It's online sometime in the first week of February for a number of reasons, but this has got to be discussed in the AMI platform. So just wanted to tell those who are listening to this lecture that earlier probably we thought that we will not hold this conference this year, but now realizing the importance of microbiology and realizing that this COVID-19 is not going to end up, we have decided actually to hold this e-conference sometime in the second week of February and integrate digital technology. अब इससे नहीं बच पाओगे, माइक्रोबायोलॉजी से और डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी से नहीं बच पाओगे. And those who are listening to my lecture, I request them to be my ambassadors. Go home, tell your parents, tell your children, tell your classmates the importance of microbiology in society, and also actually the contribution or the role that microbiology can play in our daily life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for a nice presentation. Now I request you, sir, are you ready for the question answer session? Some of the participants are asked some very relevant question of today's seminar. Am I share with you, sir? Am I audible?
I'm able to hear you.
Am I audible or not, sir?
Yes, Namita, I'm able to hear you.
Hello, I'm audible.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yes, I'm audible, sir.
You are audible.
Hello.
Yeah, Namita, I'm able to hear you.
Okay, sir. Now one question asked by the Jeevan Sindhu. Virus mutate very fast and COVID-19 is no exception. Our poor public living in slum, no safe distance possible. How to protect these people from the infection?
Yeah, it's a very right question, but let me make it very clear. We were discussing it the other day. In fact, the infection, COVID-19 पॉजिटिव लोग जो स्लम में हैं वो बहुत कम है, उनकी इम्यूनिटी बहुत ज्यादा है. If you see the data from Mumbai, in fact, those people are, and you see, yeah, India is a different country. You cannot really implement all those guidelines and rules so easily as it can be done in Europe and in USA. और यही मैंने बताया कि अगर जिन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा है उनको भी कहो कि भाई वो स्लम में जाएं और बताएं लोगों को कि माइक्रोबायोलॉजी का कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है, आप कैसे मास्क पहनना है, कहाँ पर जाना है. ये दायित्व हमारी AMI का है और हमारा है.
She is from Saudi actually.
Yeah.
She is from Saudi.
We need to educate them.
Okay, sir. The next question from the Sujit Kumar. What are the tools used for contact tracing?
What are the tools used for?
Contact tracing. How to trace the contact?
How to trace the?
Contact tracing. How it is spreading from one person to other person. What are the different tools?
No, actually, I mentioned that there are. It's also airborne, but I do not know much about it. What are the tools that are being used? Has been used. Probably, I also need to look into the literature.
Okay, sir. The next is microbiology will be more important in future, and the next war could be viral war. Jeevan Sindhu again.
नहीं, वायरस बैक्टीरिया के बिना नहीं रह सकते या किसी सेल में जाने के बिना नहीं रह सकते. तो ये दोनों ही, इट इज नॉट दैट यस वायरसेस आर इम्पोर्टेंट बट बैक्टीरिया आर आल्सो इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट. कोई पता नहीं है आने वाले टाइम में 2 सालों में कोई बैक्टीरिया ही इतना खतरनाक आ जाए कि भाई वायरस की तरह हमें फिर लॉकडाउन करना पड़े. So yes, viruses and bacteria are equally important, but as of today, viruses are very important. Their association with bacteria is very important, and also in our body.
Next question from the Bhim Pratap. Sir, can we give more emphasis using our herbal formulation to enhance immunity in India? Research focus can be more towards herbal side using our bioresources.
I think ये बहुत मुश्किल है. इम्यूनिटी आप कह रहे हो हम बढ़ा लेंगे, बट आई एम सेइंग कि राइट नाउ बी हेल्दी, ईट हेल्दी. व्हेन आई एम सेइंग आप हेल्दी खाओ, कम खाओ. मैं एक टाइम खाता हूँ, मुझे कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा एक्टिव हूँ मैं. इनफैक्ट योगेंद्र ही फील जेलस के भाई तुम एक टाइम खा के भी इतना उछलते हो. तो कम खाओ आज के टाइम में, लॉकडाउन के टाइम में. डोंट ईट मोर, eat less, do exercises, plan your day. You all are immune and fit for doing anything. I don't think आप सारों को कोरोना से कुछ हो जाएगा. And there is also fatality rate 1.5%, and only most of them who are really are serious and were infected and died, they were already suffering from so many diseases.
The next question from the J.R. Khan. Whether the vaccine produced from one country will be effective to other country as virus is mutating. Zaved Khan from Veterinary University, Durgapur.
Yeah, that is one thing, because this virus is mutating. Plus, developing a vaccine is a long drawn process. You cannot develop it overnight. इसके और effects क्या होंगे? All those things have got to be clearly seen. ये नहीं है कि भाई एकदम ही वैक्सीन अवेलेबल कर दी और बूस्टर देना शुरू कर दिया. So it will be difficult exercise. At the same time, virus is mutating at a very fast rate. दूसरा ये भी देखा गया है कि हमारे में इम्यूनिटी जो एंटीबॉडी प्रोड्यूस हो रही है वो किसी में 1 महीना रह रही है, किसी में 3 महीने तक रह रही है. तो ये एंटीबॉडी का लेने के बाद कितना टाइम तक ये रहेंगी, दैट आर आल्सो दैट्स अ क्वेश्चन मार्क.
Okay, then next question, Priya Dalal. When one get infected and recover successfully, then it is possible that he could get infected again with the mutated strain.
Maybe possible. I didn't see any report, but yes, there are reports appearing that that is possible.
Next from the Dr. Pushpa Jhangam. My question, after entering into the human body, how much time SARS-CoV-2 virus remain on the epithelial lining on the cell surface?
I do not know. I have no idea about it, but yes, there are papers on it.
4 दिन रहता है, 4 दिन, 4 days.
4 days.
4 days.
Okay. 4 days, ma'am. It's like for 4 days with the lining of epithelial cells. Now, any other person want to ask some question? What should be Indians move on Russian invitation for collaborative vaccine formulation? Gurmeet Saharan.
What is the question, Namita?
What about the India's move on the Russian initiative, invitation for collaborative vaccine formulation?
उन्होंने तो बना दिया है. डॉक्टर पांडा will is the right person who will answer this question. लेकिन कहीं भी बनेगा, बाद में इंडिया को ही बनाना पड़ेगा.
अभी तक वैक्सीन बना नहीं.
Yes.
अभी तक वैक्सीन बना नहीं.
Over to Dr. Panda.
अभी तक वैक्सीन बना नहीं. And unless you know what is the data, what is the protection, it is really dangerous to import any other vaccine and implement in India. And as Dr. Professor Ruplal told, the virus what is used in Russia is different. Recently, DBT has sequenced 1400 virus from Indian population. The paper has already come. 1400 virus. South India का अलग है, North India का अलग है. So वो भी मुश्किल काम हो रहे हैं. Just so you don't know. So unless you see the data and protection and its utility in Indian population, very difficult to believe and implement Russian vaccine. It is true with other vaccine also. You have to see how it is affecting or how it is working in our population. Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Panda is the right person for discussing for the immunity because he's the director of NII New Delhi. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a very informative. Yeah.
Professor Namita, just one thing.
Yes.
Just one clarification I wanted. Professor Ruplal has been talking about asymptomatic persons, and we all hear about this, that they are already immune and they have developed some antibodies. So Professor Panda is also there and other members, senior members are there. Is it some reverse, I would say, process where these antibodies, if these can be analyzed and maybe they can be studied and see that how these antibodies have been developed for which particular portion of the virus or things like that. So is it some process of going reverse that that can give us some vaccine?
Okay, मैं बोलूं?
हाँ बोलो अमूल्य.
आपके लिए बोल देता हूँ. अच्छा डॉक्टर अभी नहीं मैं तो आपसे काफी सीखता हूँ. एक्चुअली अभी तक किसी को नहीं पता मर्स, सार्स, HIV, इन्फ्लुएंजा और कोविड-19 कैसे एंटीबॉडी बनाते हैं. If you see the paper, recently a paper has come in cryo-electron microscopy. What they have seen, the RBD portion which bind to the SC2 receptor has a pre-fusion structure. और जब वो अंदर घुसता है उसकी स्ट्रक्चर अलग होता है माइक्रोफेज में और फागोजोम में. इसका मतलब अगर वो स्ट्रक्चर अलग होता है तो एंटीबॉडी अलग बनेगा which will not be neutralized. So until you know how these antibodies are, antigen is present, process and antibodies are produced, अभी तक पता नहीं है. और एक चीज है, वैक्सीन काम करता है दो प्रिंसिपल में. इट प्रोड्यूस न्यूट्रलाइजिंग एंटीबॉडी व्हिच न्यूट्रलाइज लाइक RBD against or H1 protein. But the other hallmark of vaccine is memory antibody. अभी तक किसी को पता नहीं है वायरस में मेमोरी देता है नहीं, इसलिए 2 महीने के बाद डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर इम्यूनिटी इट रिड्यूसेस. तो जब तक नहीं पता और मेमोरी के लिए 8-10 महीने चाहिए. 2 महीने में मेमोरी नहीं होता. 1 साल के टाइटल देखेंगे फिर पता चलेगा कि मेमोरी क्यों नहीं आ रहे, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, एनालाइज करेंगे. But one good thing is coming with this virus is it is developing T cell immunity. जो लोग infected नहीं है, उनके खून में भी T cell है, antibody नहीं है. That is protecting many of us.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Dr. Panda, one more question relevant to the immunity. And what your thought on plasma therapy being perceived as safe or treatment of COVID-19?
Okay.
What are the side effects?
Okay, okay. तो प्लाज्मा थेरेपी का मतलब है कि उसमें एंटीबॉडी है और ये देखा गया कि जैसे डॉक्टर रूपलाल ने बताया ना 3 तरह का पेशेंट होते हैं एसिम्प्टोमेटिक माइल्ड इन्फेक्शन सीवियर इन्फेक्शन अभी तक पता गया जो सीवियर इन्फेक्टेड होके रिकवर होते हैं ना उनकी प्लाज्मा में हाई टाइटर एंटीबॉडी आते हैं एसिम्प्टोमेटिक माइल्ड में एंटीबॉडी टाइटर नहीं आते ना उसकी कंसंट्रेशन ज्यादा होता है ना अफिनिटी ज्यादा होता है और ये देखो एक्चुअली जो प्लाज्मा में काम करता है वो इम्यूनोग्लोबुलिन जी आईजीजी वो बहुत कम परसेंट होता है 90% इज जंक इसलिए अभी तक WHO अप्रूव नहीं किया बट इफ यू गेट ए गुड हाई टाइटर
the Amulya, the other reason is probably कुछ पेशेंट प्लाज्मा थेरेपी से रिकवर हो गए और
मैं बोल रहा हूँ
वो कहने लग पड़ते हैं कि इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ प्लाज्मा थेरेपी जो यू कांट सेम वे अगर कोई
जिसका प्लाज्मा में 840 डाइल्यूशन के ऊपर एंटीबॉडी टाइटर है वो एंटीबॉडी है तो दैट कैन न्यूट्रलाइज दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट बट सब में वो होता नहीं और दूसरे का खून दूसरे को देने में थोड़ा क्लैरिफिकेशन चाहिए बिकॉज यू नेवर नो दैट प्लाज्मा में हैव वायरस आरएनए एंड अदर थिंग्स इट मे हैव अदर complication इसलिए the real requirement is intravenous immunoglobulin of a convalescent patient वो उसका शुरू नहीं हुआ अभी आप बोलिए हो गया
Okay, so one question from the Dr. Sinoj from Kerala. What are the success rate of repurposed drugs such as the Rasamdevir and ritonavir, riponavir against SARS-CoV-2 as per your opinion?
No, I think I showed you this in one of the slides that they have been tried. Now, whether patients they recovered because of those drugs or not is really very difficult to say. So there is no drug as such actually that can be used to cure completely this SARS-CoV-2 infection.
Thank you, sir. Now over to Dr. D.K. Singh, Chair. Dr. D.K. Singh. Dr. D.K. Singh is present?
Yeah, I am here.
Yes, sir. So over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Namita, for organizing such a good lecture. And I really appreciate Professor Roop Lal for giving a very informative and nice lecture in the COVID-19. And if I try to understand, he has given the lecture scientific part that the COVID is a very novel virus and it comes from the corona, whatever he has explained, and how the genome, he has tried to sequence the genome and try to understand the whole genome of the COVID-19. And in the second part, he has explained how we should live in the society and how should we think about to do something to avoid this disease to us. And if I remember many slides, I can easily understand that we have to live with the COVID-19 and we have to start our work, we have to do something. And so he has suggested that how we should make ourselves happy and how we should do our jobs. So I am very thankful to Professor Roop Lal for giving us such very good lecture and impressive lecture. Thank you, Namita.
Thank you, sir. Now over to Dr. Anil Panghal for vote of thanks. Anil, Dr. Anil. Hello. Dr. Anil is present or not? I think he is not present. Okay, so that I'm, yes, he is present. Hello? Hello?
Yogendra wants to say.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Namita, for taking pain to organize and start this series of lectures. And as usual, Dr. Rupal is always our hero in giving talk, and he explained very well about the virus and the vaccine and the treatment, and especially how you can boost your immunity. I think no drug or I'm sure food is important. Many things are very, very essential, and happiness, exercise, all those things, as we said, are very important for immunity. So more than any drug for corona disease, I think the immunity is very, very important. And thank you, Dr. Namita, as Dr. Rupal said, that is spreading the news about microbiology to the people, to the common people, is very important, and I think we are doing a good job. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I request all the participants that very soon we will share the next lecture link. As and when we finalize the program, we will definitely share the link with all the participants and our respected, you can say, organizer and the colleague and senior fellow. Thank you very much once again for your presence.
Dr. Namita, can I say something?
Definitely.
We are all aware of Dr. Ruplal's contribution, and I must say he actually deserves standing ovation for his contribution to the field of microbiology. I really appreciate his work and the kind and the yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you all. Good day.
Thank you, Amulya.
Chala, chala.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Professor Namita.